Hey Stitchers, your girl Chris here. Welcome back to my channel on social, where it's totally cool to be obsessed with sewing. So for today's video, I want to talk to you really quickly about the full tummy adjustment. Now, the full tummy adjustment is a pattern fitting adjustment that you make to skirts and to trousers. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate it on trousers just because I'm still fighting with the fit of trousers myself, but I am going to demonstrate it on a skirt, the Blair Skirt by True Bias. Now, in my case, my natural waist measures at about 33.5 inches. The fullest part of my tummy measures about 37 and sometimes 38 inches, depending on what's going on and what time of the month I am at. Now, the difference between my natural waist and my full tummy in terms of length is just about 3 or 4 inches. And so in some circumstances, especially with button-down skirts and dresses, I notice some tugging at the fullest part of my tummy when I choose my size based on my waist measurement. Now, to combat that issue, you can do what's called the full tummy adjustment. And that is what I said I'm going to demonstrate for you today. Now, the full tummy adjustment that I'm doing to this skirt is a 1-inch full tummy adjustment. I probably could have done more. I'm not sure yet because I haven't tried it on this particular skirt pattern, but I figured I'd start small and work my way up. And the reason I'm doing a full tummy adjustment on this skirt and not simply just blending out at the side seams is because I was going through the hashtag over on Instagram and I noticed that a lot of the skirts, the buttons were gaping around the tummy area. And so I figured that blending sizes for this pattern would not be as effective as just doing the full tummy adjustment. Now, as with the full bust adjustment, the full tummy adjustment adds increased width and ease around the tummy area, but it also adds extra length down your center front to go over the mound of the fullest part of your tummy. Now, the distance between point A and point B in a straight line is going to be shorter than the distance between line A and line B over a curved surface, just because you now have more distance to go over. Now, a full belly adjustment, as I already indicated, is often evidenced by lots of gaping and pulling right at your buttons over the fullest part of your tummy. So if this is an adjustment that you think you might need, please keep on watching. I'm going to be demonstrating the full belly adjustment using the True Bias Blair skirt, just because in quite a few of the pictures I have seen, I do spot some tugging at like the belly area. And I already know that my belly is a couple inches bigger than where my natural waistline falls. So I've gone ahead and cut out a size 14, which may end up being too big for my waist. And so I've also printed out the size 12 just in case I need to remove some width at the side seam. But the full tummy adjustment adds length to go over the tummy from the center front, and it also adds a little bit extra more shaping for rounded areas of the body. So I think that with the full tummy adjustment, the increase in the dart length sort of just releases a little bit more fullness at the fullest part of the tummy. So to do this adjustment, I am going to first mark in the seam allowance right at my waistline. So I'm going to use a pencil just for this bit. I'm marking in a half an inch. And then I'll also mark in a half inch from the top of my waistline, and where that intersects, this is going to be where I'm starting. So I've just marked it in. Right across here is where I'm going to be starting my markings. Once I've secured the seam allowance, I'm going to draw a diagonal line from the middle of the intersection right down to the tip of my dart. Like so. We will label this one line A. Next step, we're going to draw a line parallel to our center front, right over to the dart point. Like so, we can call this one line B. And the third line is going to go through the center of your dart. Just like so. And we can call this one line C. Now, once we've got our lines all drawn in, I'll bring it up closer so you can see. So line A is diagonal from your side seam to the tip of your dart. Line B goes from the tip of your dart to your center front, and this line must be parallel to your center front or your grain line. And your third line goes from the tip up from the top of your dart straight down the center of your dart, and this one is line C. Once we have our darts in place, we can go ahead and cut our pattern piece apart. So I'm going to cut through line B, then pivot and cut up line A right to the intersection of our seam allowance, because we need to go ahead and create a hinge point at our seam allowance. We also want to cut through the center of our dart near the tip, but taking care not to cut through your dart. And this is what we get left with. The next thing we want to do is to go ahead and grab some scrap paper. I've just got some 2-inch strips of scrap paper, and I'm going to draw a line in a 1/2 inch from one side of my scrap paper. I'm going to use my pencil for this, so you may not be able to see it very well on camera, but you're just going in and drawing in a 1/2 inch line on your scrap paper. What I want to do now is I want to stick the top piece of my skirt right to the edge of my paper. And I could probably bring this down like so. So I'm going to stick this piece right here at the edge of my paper, and I made sure that my strip was parallel to the grain line right here. And once I've stuck the top piece of my skirt in place, I then want to stick the bottom piece of my skirt in line with that 1/2 inch line that I drew in. So I'm lining up my scrap of paper along the grid line on my cutting mat. Just use my weights to hold it down right there. And then I just want to go in, make sure it's laying flat right the way down. I'm going to have to extend my strip of paper, but I want to make sure that my cut line now lines up with the 1/2 inch marking that I put on my scrap paper, and that the rest of my pattern piece is flat and not buckling anywhere. Once I'm satisfied with that, then I'm going to go ahead and tape it into place. So let's just make sure that it's laying flat, and I think I'm pretty happy with how it's laying, and so I can start taping it into place right here. So I use the 1/2 inch line because we're working on half of a skirt, and I want to add 1 inch of ease around the fullest part of my tummy. So we did 1/2 inch. Now, if you need more, the distance between your center front line and your adjustment line will be increased. So if you need to do 2 inches, then you're going to need a 1 inch difference between your center front line and where you put that marking in with your pencil. As I said, I'm just going to stick it into place right the way down on my scrap paper. I'm then going to have to grab a piece of scrap paper and fill in this cut up right around here. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off camera. Once we have our center front in place, we're going to grab some more scrap paper and slip it behind the top part of our skirt. And we are just going to tape it into place as well. Once we have our pattern piece taped into place, we need to go back in and true up our dart point. To do that, I just need to fold along one dart leg like so. I'm going to crease it, and then I can bring it over to my second dart leg like so. And once I have that done, I am just going to hold it into place and trim it off. All right, with that complete, we have finished our full tummy adjustment. So I've added an additional 1 inch of ease around the fullest part of my tummy, and I've added a little bit more length to my pattern so that the hemline doesn't ride up because of the fullness of my tummy. Again, the distance from point A to point B when it's in a straight line will be shorter than point A to point B when it has to go over the curve of the fullest part of the tummy. So that is what this little bit of length is going to take care of. And this little extra bit of width is just going to give me some wearing ease throughout the tummy. And then, of course, I mentioned earlier that we have increased the dart, which provides a fuller release over the mounds of the fullest part of the tummy. So hopefully, once I sew up my skirt, I'll be happy with this adjustment. I do not have the time to do a toile, but fingers crossed it will work out well. Now I'm going to leave it at the size 14, although probably I can grade down to the size 12 now because I have extra room here to accommodate my tummy, but I'm going to do it by trial and error. So I'm going to sew up the size 14 first, and if necessary, then I can grade down to the size 12. Alrighty folks, there you have it. That was a quick demonstration of the full tummy adjustment. I'm hoping that you guys were able to see the adjustment quite clearly. I did go ahead and use a very fine Sharpie to demonstrate the lines, and I hope that this is much better than the pencil that I had been using in many of my previous tutorials. Please let me know whether you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Drop me some comments down below and let me know whether you thought this tutorial was easy to understand or whether there is something I could have done or said to improve how this tutorial went. Now, if you have gotten this far and you are not yet a subscriber, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and, of course, turning your notification bell on. Subscriptions are absolutely free for you, but they guarantee you a spot right here with me in my YouTube sewing family. Now, I am completely self-taught, but it delights me so much to be able to share the little bit of knowledge that I have gained over the 6 years I have been sewing, and I'm hoping that you guys are benefiting from my videos. Now, that is all I wanted to share with you guys today. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.